drink it. Or loco. 50-cent can of bazooka. What the hell is in here? Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Giving all glory to the God of our forefathers. The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the great, mighty, revered God, the most high God who bestowed love and kindness and possess all things. And without a shadow of a doubt will send a redeemer to his children's children. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Without any further ado, I'm going to call up my Bane. Proud to have him as my son, Prince Yashuvel. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Thank you so much, man.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Everyone may be seated. All honor, all glory to the supreme intellect of the universe, Yah, our forefathers, Yah Abraham, Yitzchak, with Yaakov. Thanking the Heavenly Father for allowing us to be here this day. Yeah, you had a good security team, Abba. They don't care if I get shot. They pay by the hour. Nah, but Kane. Yeah, but my Abba, man, he touched on some very serious points, man, because, you know, we can't be feeding our children all that soy, man. You got to think about it, man. You know, you might look up one day and have a pink camp. You just don't know, you know, all that soy in your system. You know, I want to tell you the story of how this happened, right? So I said, Abba, yo, the pandas are going to look good on red. He was like, Bang, no, not red. Let's go for light red. Now, in my mind, I didn't think light red equals what?
Pink. Hot pink.
I feel like I'm in a uterus right now.
Yo.
I feel warm. I'm ready to come out and breastfeed. Praise the Most High. Hallelujah. Yeah, I had to get my spirit together, man. Yeah. It's nice. It's nice. You know, sometimes your spirit go other places and is searching for something and is trying to look for a resting place. You know, last night I had a good time spending time with my brother and his children, and we, you know, built for a little bit, and I just dozed off and got up like an hour and a half later, and I stayed up putting together this lesson until 5 o'clock in the morning. But waking up without even knowing, like, yo, you didn't intertwine everything like you wanted to. So praise the Most High that hopefully it'll get to the point to get out there, the message to get out there. The lesson today was kind of inspired by a conversation I had with my brother, Prince Nathaniel, and they were just talking about seeking balance and going through certain things in your life. And I've been through things in my life where I always try to change myself. You know, your body's on the circumceptive rhythms. It's dealing with cycles of 7. So every 7 days, your body rejuvenates, it ceases, it stops. This is why we do the Sabbath. Every 7 years, your body is going through a different cycle in the phase. Your mind is starting to change. So every 7, you're supposed to be somebody totally different. And in it, I'm still trying to find my way, man. I was given the privilege to be put in the land of Goshen. And what you think you know about living is not really what you think you know. You know, your knowledge, sometimes it doesn't pan out when it comes to real life. Right. You know, you go into a land where all this book smart and ain't nothing happening. Don't give all my slides away, man.
Yeah.
And everybody's so smart until actually the work starts to happen. And so I find myself, you know, it was a time where it was brothers there. And then some brothers, as we grow and grow and grow, sometimes it comes harder for people to understand the great thing that we're doing. See, I played religion for a long time. And now we finally have a chance to build a nation. You have a chance to put your hands into building a city. And when I got out there, I had to become a whole different person. City life didn't work in the country. Right. It don't. City life, you handicapped when you get out there. You were completely handicapped. You know, and we got to understand that. So it's going to be a transition. And the most uncomfortable thing about life is when you go through the uncomfortable stages, there's going to be lessons of growth. And that's what we have to go towards. So today, I got a lesson for you. I'm ready. And it's called The Mind of Solomon, the search for balance between sexuality and intellect. And this is kind of the topic my brother threw at me. I had another topic me and Prince Jish was talking about, but this one really sat on my heart because I had a discussion with some brothers, and we were talking about. Nah, I'm just playing. But we had a good conversation, and it brought me to a place, man. It brought me to a very beautiful place after I thought about it, and I sat. And I said, you know what? We have to understand the sexual nature of us and who we are as a people. Because if we don't, then that's where the exploration starts to come. And we start to search outside ourselves and begin to go into something that is very dangerous for us. You know, a lot of times we think westernized. Like when you go into other tribes, they train their daughters on how to keep a man. They do from when they're young. They train them how to keep a man. You know, they have a certain area where they talk to their daughters. Us, we hide this from our daughters, correct? Yeah. So what do? They find it on the internet. You know, 70% of internet usage is for porn. Think about that. 70%. That is overwhelming. That is overwhelming. And it used to be when you was on social media, people had to pull down like nude pictures and stuff like that. That don't happen no more. Yeah, no, yeah, it just, yeah. And then it's sitting there, you minding your own business, and you like, oh. It's late night, 10 o'clock, you like. So your mind, you know, they feeding it to you, right? They giving it to you. They I was about to say that, you know, they giving it to you. They ain't gonna ram it down your throat, but they giving it to you, right? And this sexual beast that they put inside of our minds is destroying us as a people. And see, you think because you send your kids to get educated that they're really being educated on moral stuff, right? Not at all. My father's not lying. You go to the doctors, they got a bowl. I mean, you go to the doctor's office in the school, they got a bowl with condoms in it. Yeah. No more lollipops. Yeah, those are the new lollipops. Yeah, it's a new lollipop. How you feeling? How you feeling, Doc? Everything good? Everything good? Yeah. They setting your children up, and then they tell you, oh, it's good to explore your sexual nature. Teach your children before this world teaches them. Please. Don't tell your children sex is bad. Sex is not a bad thing. Trust me. I ain't gonna lie to you. You know, I mean, that's how kids think, right? They're gonna think like, oh, well, if it's so bad, why Ima Abba doing it? You gotta be realistic with children. It's bad when you do it with the person I told you not to do it with. It's bad when you don't wait for the right time. This is what we gotta realize. We gotta get into it. We gotta understand our nature. So I'm gonna go to the first slide and we're gonna get started. All right. So now we start to look at this, and we look at the this is a caduceus staff, and you would probably know it as the brazen serpent of Moses' time. And then in Egypt, when you know they said the staff turned into serpent, they had the same kind of information. This is a staff. This is the wise staff for Thoth dealing with the intellect and education. So anytime you see a serpent, you see the representation of DNA and genetic coding, right? And in this genetic coding, you're about to enter into a special kind of world because the scriptures unveiled is going to bring you into something. And I want you to drop all the Catholic understanding of the Bible. Because that's what we got, a Catholic understanding of the Bible. We're just angry Catholics, angry black Catholics. Yeah. And we don't have a way out because what they have for us is deeper than everything else. We got power here. See, I love the book. I don't read stuff and just say, I read the book. Oh, I read that verse. That was good. Praise the Most High. Yeah. I'm looking at it. I'm breaking it down. I'm decoding it. It's something talking to me. It's jumping out. Something on that paper jumping out to me. Let's go. All right. I want you to think about this now. This is the beginning. The better sheet is in the mind, it's in the head, it's a thought process. You're basically about to be introduced into the book of Genesis, and it's a laboratory of life. You're going to start seeing things now, and you're going to be prepared to come into a world of existence that you never know. You know how people sometimes they say Adam and Eve. You think Adam and Eve like typical humans, right? Like a picket fence and a backyard and a dog. No, these were primitive people. They were learning stuff as they went along. They were going through the art of discovery, just like you as an individual. When you come out of there, this is why it's important to breastfeed your child, because when you breastfeed that child, there's a vibrational frequency that allows to understand the love patterns of a mother. So the touch of a mother starts to stimulate the child, and then the child starts grabbing stuff. And when he grab it, the brain sends a message to tell him what it is and understand it, because the baby is learning his spatial environment. So they're learning things around them. That's why it's very important to create a system where our wives can take care of their babies for the first 3 years. Right? That baby ain't supposed to go nowhere. Right? That baby is not supposed to be dropped off to daycare and you come back and get it, and then whoever's training them, they're putting their mind or their hatred inside of that baby. They're putting that evil. Do you know how spiteful people are against Hebrew Israelites? As a young child, my aunt used to be mad at my mother and used to give us pork. Yeah, people are spiteful. She'd be mad at my mother. I was tearing that pepperoni piece up. I didn't know what that was, but when they told me pepperoni wasn't kosher, ooh, I was like, I started taking my fringes off. I don't know if I can do this. Let's go to the next slide. All right. So now God, the master creator, he he says he formed man, Adam, from the Adamah, from the dust of the earth. Do you know on the surface of the earth, everything that's inside of man, oxygen, carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, calcium, phosphorus, potassium, sulfur, sodium, chlorine, magnesium, copper, iron, zinc, all the stuff that's in there and in the proper amount is exactly what's inside the humans. So in it, they're giving you an in-depth science and a breakdown. They're letting you know when it says he formed man from the dust of the earth, and you're like, oh, that's just figurative. That's realistic. The man actually came from the earth, and science supports that. But they're telling you the Bible is fake. Let me tell you, they're only telling you that so they can use it. Yeah, they're using it against you. Go to the next slide. All right. Then he said it put a deep sleep. So now here you go. You just came into this world. You don't know what's going on. You see some tall stuff. You breathe in. Like, whew. Then you get to see animals, and you're like, man, these animals is cool, man. This thing is what that thing is. That look. Oh, now I'm gonna call that a lion. All right. Oh, okay. That thing is. Oh, okay. What they? Yeah. So you looking, and then the animals are doing something. You're like, that looks interesting. What are these animals doing? You know what the animals are doing, right? What are you looking at yourself? You're looking at. Where mine at? Where mine at? Shoot. Dang, mule. You know what I mean? You're starting to watch stuff, and now you're starting to observe it. And God said, I'm about to prepare you for something special. I'm about to give you something special. So he said, he put him a deep sleep. He didn't say he drugged them. He put a deep sleep on them. See, when you go into surgeries, that's what they do. They put you into deep sleep. So now they're telling you how to do surgical operations in the Bible. It's very interesting, right? They give you the anesthesia, you go into a deep sleep, and they're able to operate. So now we're starting to see what is laboratory, and you're the experiment. And then you get to experiment with your environment. Go ahead. All right, the only one out of 206 bones, the 206 bones in the body, the only bone that can regenerate itself is the rib bone. How would anybody know this? How would anybody know this unless there's some kind of doctor and they did things to create individuals, right? You got to think about this. Let's go to the next slide. Now go back. Now, like I said before, when they do stem cell research, where do they take the marrow from? They take it from the ribs. Dang. So the scientists take the marrow from the rib because what they're trying to do is recreate and clone. See, y'all are so into so much stuff that doesn't even make sense. Yeah, you missing everything that's in front of you.
Right.
Stem cell research, donate to it. They're trying to clone. So they almost created a liver through stem cells now, so they can regenerate organs by using the marrow. They just haven't completely figured it out. But all they did was read Genesis. And they tell you, don't worry about that book. It's false. It's false. Don't worry about that. Yeah, don't worry about that. God don't exist. Right? Now, see, you didn't put my slide. Let's go to Genesis 3.
Come on. Make this thing
Huh?
happen.
It's all right. Genesis 3. And I want you to really know what's going on, because sometimes we just read to read, and I want us to read to understand. You know, when you go to school, they give you reading and comprehension. You got to pass it. Like, I know you can read, but do you comprehend what's going on? When I ask you, why do you use the rib? You say, I don't know. Why you put a deep sleep? I don't know. Why you say dust the earth? I don't know. I just love the book. Man, you don't love the book. You love the religion that's around the book. That means you don't care for this book. You don't love this book. I want to know why. I may not have the right answers, but I'm going to ask the question. I'm going to ask the question. See, the child that's educated or learns is the one that's always asking the question, why? Don't never tell them, don't ask you why. Don't ever tell your child that. Unless it's an immediate command that needs an immediate response. If they're asking something, they're trying to learn. They're saying, Daddy, educate me. You saying, no, be a slave and just do everything that you're told to be doing. No, help the child out. Well, I know you're tired at times and don't want to respond to them, but you have to. You have to. So in Genesis, I'll just go over it. In Genesis, man did something with Eve, and the serpent tricked them. They did something, and now they got kicked out of the garden. They hiding. They're ashamed, and there's three aspects that shows you that there is a physiological mutation inside of man that starts to change because the pineal gland, it starts to shut down more. And what does it produce? Anybody know the three things we talked about: the serotonin, melatonin, DMT, right? And all these things it started to produce, it stopped at a certain time because now we are getting out of the third eye realm and getting into a third dimensional realm, which is just the physical eyes. So in it, what happens is, this was so powerful what happened to Adam that after he got kicked out of the garden, he didn't even complain about getting kicked out of the garden. The first thing he did was name the woman. He named her. So he didn't think about God. So keep this in mind. He got kicked out and he walking with her. I'm going to name you Eve. What does Eve mean? Yeah. She's the mother of all living. I'm going to show you, but I'm going to show you what it means. Let's go. See, we got what we told, because it says this, and this is interpretation, because people interpret things the way they want to. Derived from the Hebrew word kawa, and this is from a sister, Bossy Bordy, meaning to breathe. And she's from the Bantu tribe. You're going to see me reference her a lot. It is believed to be related to the Hebrew word kaya, meaning live, or fundamentally derived from the Hebrew word kai, meaning alive or living. Kai, cognate for Swahili, meaning life. Hai in Chinese implies a child, girl, or boy, but it is used in conjunction with suffixes like hati or tiato or hair, child. Kawa, cognate Swahili, kawa means sexual arousal. All right? Kaya is the cognate for Swahili among the Bantu language, and it means a home. So it means a breath, and it means sexual arousal. That's what it means. Now, that's something different now. We didn't know that, right? Now, don't that make more sense now? He's saying, I don't know, God just kicked me out, but that ain't what's on his mind right now. He's like, girl, you had me breathing heavy, and I was aroused. What was that? What was that? I was here by myself, and something happened. All of a sudden, the bottom fell out, and I'm sitting here breathing hard. You know, guys, you brothers see it. You know, you ever seen that girl? No, you know, your brothers know what I'm talking about. Y'all gonna act like y'all you're so righteous. Your brothers so righteous. Shalom. I don't talk to sisters. On my way to service. You know, you ever seen that sister that looks so good, the bottom of your stomach start turning? You know what I'm talking about. Y'all brothers know what I'm talking about. Y'all brothers know what I'm talking about. And you start breathing hard, right? You start breathing hard. She all the way across the street. You like. You be like, whoa. Like, bro, what's wrong with you? You seen that sister? What you mean, what sister? That sister. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, brothers. Don't act like we got to explain ourselves. And that's what happened to him. She did something to him, and he like, I'm calling you. Your name is breathing and arousal. I'm gonna call you breathing and arousal. He's trying to explore. So now in his exploration, he's starting to define stuff. Let's go to the next slide. Because this is good and bad psychology. As people grow increasingly aroused, their first breath will deepen and their respiration rate increases like they've been running, like they begin to hold their breath as the muscles clench rhythmically. This is necessary and universal predecessor to orgasm. So your body is preparing for orgasm. That's what it is. Like your mind is just built on one type of thing at times. Yeah. I was in school one time and I got in trouble and the teacher was about to put me in detention because the girl said I was undressing her with my eyes. I'm like, that don't even make sense. How can I do that? I can't grab with my eyes. I didn't understand it. I got older. I was like, whoa. Yeah. Yeah, y'all know what I'm talking about. For real. You go down the supermarket, you see that sister, she fly. She looking like, you okay, brother? She's like, you okay, brother? You like, you okay? You know what I did, right? Aisle 7 cleanup in your mind. So you got to get to understand the man. You got to understand the man. I want sisters to understand the man today. That's what I want them to understand. Don't start trying to tame a man and make him something he's not. He named his woman what she did to him. Yeah, I'm in name of happiness, joy. He said, your name is erection. Yeah, let's be real. And that's the thing that we got to understand as a people. Let's go to the next slide. All right. Sexual excitement, arousal of a man gets an erection. Come on, we adults now, right? Physical, psychological stimulation of both cause the more blood to flow into the 3 spongy areas of the corpora that runs along penis. The skin, loose, mobile, allow the penis to grow. So now we understand that they're describing what's happening to the body. I'm giving it to you because in Western culture, don't worry, this is probably the most elaborate thing you're gonna get today, but don't worry about it. All right, go to the next one. So in the scriptures, what you're going to realize is that the scriptures is defining what is going on. This is not a Catholic book. It is something that's deeper than that, because in order for you to understand your life, you have to understand what goes on with your personal body, because part of our failure is exploration. See, we fail in life because we always exploring instead of getting lessons being taught the what it is that's going on with individuals. Now, it says in the whole earth was one language and a speech, and it came to pass, and this is when Most High comes down, and the Lord said, behold, his people is one, and they have all one language, and they begin to do. And now nothing will restrain from them which they have imagined to do. So now in the Genesis, when you came out the beginning of Genesis, you start to realize that, hey, God said they on to something. They smart. They starting to figure out stuff, and they're going to take it to another level. He already seen that the HARP machinery that's coming and messing up with the weather. He already seen how they're going to start manipulating food and GMOs. He already seen that certain things are starting to happen inside of people. So we got to realize that as a nation, God is already telling you what man does. And it's how far a man can go. You know, me and my brother, we had this philosophical discussion, and it was like, well, why would God give us the knowledge on cloning if he didn't want us to clone? So sometimes in it starts to see that our knowledge is used for evil things. So there's an evolution that we have to understand and what goes on. And in the beginning, you start to realize your personal functions and how to understand who you are. Just like when your daughter gets unclean, you explain to her what's going on with the body, right? Why we never did that with our sons? And then you wondering why they exploring with everything in nature, because you never explained it to them. So now they're exploring. And that's the thing we got to keep in mind. Go on to the next slide. All right. So now here goes where where sexuality starts to evolve, and you see Lamech now. Lamech has 2 wives, right? You see in the scriptures. Now, Lamech means ruler, but it actually means to oppress because it's part of the imperialistic bloodline of Cain. It's the descendant of Cain bloodline. Cain means acquisition. That's the imperial aspect. So a lot of times in imperialism, you start to establish kingdoms. Most people in ancient times were nomadic. So it was the kingdoms versus the nomadic people, Cain versus Abel, the agrarians versus the shepherds, those who traveled. So there was always this fight. But only time you would establish kingdom is when there was a common threat that centralizes the kingdom. So now there had to be some kind of threat that centralizes the kingdom, and rulership appears to have 2 wives or multiple women. So now you start to see in culture, men begin to establish themselves and fortify themselves by having multiple women to be authoritative figures over certain aspects of their tribes. So now this is the first thing, the book starts to go in there. So let's go to the next slide. You got Ada and Zillah, right? Ada and Zillah. Now, what am I gonna do with this? Huh? Just translate the name. You got to translate the name. Ada is a jewel or an adornment, right? And Zillah is the shadow, is a shadow. What are they saying? What are they saying? Usually your first wife is your persona, what you're trying to put on. She's the wife that you pick because of the world wants you to do that. That's what they told you to do. But then your second woman or your woman on the side or whatever, and I'm not equating the two, but the woman on the side is usually part of your darkest subconscious stuff, right? You got this one wholesome woman that you adorn, that you parade around and put before everybody, bring it to the temple. But then you got that one negative woman that ain't nothing but a thought. Because in your subconscious self, you have a dark desire for iniquity. You do. It just happens sometimes. So a lot of times your second woman is going to be stuff that's in your subconscious. And I'm not saying good or bad. I'm just telling you on certain things, you start to see people. You got to look at biblical patterns. And that's the difference between 3 dimensions and 4 dimensions. Once you start going through different aspects of enlightenment, you start to see patterns. Once you start recognizing patterns in life, you're starting to go into another dimension of things, and enlightenment starts to come. So sometimes you don't begin to see things the same way as other people's that are 3-dimensional on their approach to things. So now you take that. There's nobody telling you look up Ada Zillah. You just have to instinctively know that they're trying to convey a message. Let's go to the next slide. In response, and this is shadow self embracing your inner darkness. In response to his series of preoccupation, Jung, his name is Carl Jung, so don't say Jung. You know, look unintelligent in academic areas. All right, created the archetype models, a concept wherein he believes our unconscious minds are fragmented or structured into different selves in an attempt to organize how we experience different things in life. 2 of Jung's major archetypes are the persona and the shadow. So even he has nothing to do with the Bible. Carl Jung has nothing to do with the Bible. He does dibble and dabble, but he never touched on Ada and Zillah. He's saying that everybody has 2 personal archetypes, right? They have archetypes. And what are the archetypes? The persona and the shadow self. What does persona mean? Oh, that's mine. How that works. Yeah. that's Zillah about to be exposed. Yeah. So remember, it's 2 aspects of us, right? And especially in the ego, the authoritative aspect of Lamech to rule over. There's the persona. Anybody know what persona means? It's a front. It's a mask. It's a Greek word for mask. It's something that you put on. When you come out here, most of y'all got your mask on. And some of y'all shadows start creeping out more than others. That little darkness that you have when you're chasing people away from the camp because of that shadow was just spilling all over the place. You can't even mask that. Clean it up, put that mask back on. So that's why I say Ada. Ada is what you adorn, what you dress yourself up to be. Right? So what exactly is the persona and the shadow self? Well, the persona, according to Jung, defines that we would like to be and how we wish to be seen by the world. So that adornment is how we would like to be. How, you know, when you on Facebook, you know, talk about praises to the Most High, all glory. I made shacharit this morning. I gave glory to God, and all of a sudden, you and porn. That's the persona, but that's your shadow because we give off an image. Everybody knows to play enough of their persona to get people involved. And that's why it's imperative to get to know people before you engage in relationships with them. Because ain't nobody gonna tell you, I'm sorry, I'm this, I ain't that. You're like, ooh, I like that in you. At least you honest. No, you're not. Nobody's gonna like that. So when the aspect is, we all put on these masks in this front. So the word persona is derived from the Latin word, which literally means mask. However, in instance, the word can be applied to metaphorically representing all different social masks that we wear among different groups and peoples and situations. So you know what it is. You know how you amongst one group and you like this, then you amongst another group. Yeah, you got to change your mask. You got to change your persona. You got to change. Yeah, I can fit in here. I can fit in there. And usually that is intertwined with feminine energy. See, yeah, it's feminine energy because feminine energy is water. It's something that can be contained and take the shape of the vessel. So if you one person here, one person there, that means you're not the dominant male. You're the follower. So if you here and you talking about Shalom, sister, Ecology, and all that, and then you out in the world cursing it up and looking like a nigga, then you the beta male. You the beta male. And you don't have dominance. You got to be who you are regardless. Do not let anybody change you. Right. On the other hand, the shadow self is an archetype that forms part of the unconscious mind and is composed of repressed ideas, instinct, impulses, weaknesses, desires, perversions, and embracing fears. This archetype is often described as the darker side of the psyche, representing wildness, chaos, and the unknown. Jung believed that these latent dispositions are present in all of us today, and in many instances forming a strong source of creative energy. So there is a beauty in your dark side. You know, the people sometimes the most creative people are the most anti-socially rejected people because they draw energy from their they draw from their darkness. Like, you know, her name is Sila, right? You see this name also again. And it's connected to creativity. He doesn't say this. It's just how the Bible works. It's systematic. Betzalel, same root word, shadow. Because the book is correlating two aspects and two identities, two archetypes, but it's letting you know the creative. You got people that paint art, and they're some of the most antisocial people on the planet. Bang. We had a brother that used to sing his behind off, but just didn't get along with people and crazy. Because sometimes creativity is associated to that thing that's in the subconscious. It really makes you who you are. It makes you who you are in some of your decisions. And a lot of times we don't identify ourselves with our subconscious. You ever notice that? We begin to justify our subconscious and make it right. Like all our bad stuff we don't see. And that's how we look at ourselves, because when we look at ourselves, we judge ourselves from the emotional part of the brain. When we judge others, we judge them from the prefrontal cortex of the brain, meaning that we're very detailed and critical when we judge others. When we judge ourselves, it's like, well, I was just going through a lot, man. And I just, man, you don't understand me, man. But when you with other people, you're stern, bang, mom. But when they talk about you, you know what I mean? We got to understand this aspect of us, right? Next slide. Part 2. We are born pure like blank canvases, but at some point during our childhood development, we learn knowledge that teaches us to separate things into good and evil. The moment we eat of this tree of knowledge, our shadows are born and we begin to divide ourselves. So we know that we begin to divide ourselves. So we can start to get into this world. The world is starting to beat us. So we're trying to live up with society. So even us, we think that society is right. It's part of our typical thing. So when you are not talking about going to Goshen and just living in a place like New York or a melting pot where all the diversity of folly is there, that means actually you have to fit into that social construct. You can't go to work cursing out homosexuals. Try that. See how long you have a job. Comedies can't even tell gay jokes no more, really. They gotta say, yeah, but I love y'all, man. Y'all, I ain't got nothing against gay. You gotta already come out with a what's that thing called? Huh? A disposition? Yeah, disclaimer. Yeah, you got to come out with a disclaimer. I ain't got nothing against faggots, but one thing I do want to say is. So you gotta conform into it. So and you know that, and we gotta understand that. All right. What we call civilized consciousness has steadily separated itself from the basic instinct, but these instincts has not disappeared. So every last one of you have a dark side, right?
Yes. Right.
And I want you to be able to understand that this is prevalent in you. If you act like it's not there, then it grows. It grows. You have that shame. You have that one side where you just like, I ain't let nobody know that. You know what I'm saying? But we push it away as if it's not, if it's not there. Sometimes you have to associate with that zeal or that shadow self in order to know that some of your impulsive decisions are coming from the shadow. They're not conscious. They're not conscious decisions. They're not conscious decisions. Somebody try to tell you about yourself. What about you? I wanted to talk to you about yourself. Did you talk to yourself about yourself? I just wanted to have a conversation. Man, you protect it because you're impulsive self, because you don't want nobody to pull out your shadows. You don't want nobody, they pull that thing out, you're like, dang! Get out of here. Then you kick all that shadow stuff under because you're ashamed. You're ashamed. But this is how man is, because man has these, they have these desires, they have these urges, they have these things that they walk through in life. And I'm going to explain it because Solomon was a very deep character. He was a very deep person inside of the scriptures that was one of the most powerful kings. And he was given so many great titles. The Almighty has blessed us as a people. He has given us a book of strength. He has given us a book that gives us an advantage. See, people gonna tell you that, oh, the Torah is just the 613 laws. That's a philosophy. That's something that we didn't come up with, right? Somebody tells us that, oh, the Torah is just this. It's instructions. Everything that you have to read, you have to investigate these things, right? Let's go to the next slide. All right. Now, understanding men and Lamech. In addition, the preoptic area that regulates the mating behavior is about 2.2 times larger in men than in women and contains 2 times more cells. This large size depends on the amount of male sex hormones and androgens, which is the same thing. The difference in this area is only apparent after a child is 4 years old, and girls at 4 years old, there is a decrease in the number of cells in its nucleus. Now, go to the next slide. So the hypothalamus deals with sexual behavior, is influenced by the hypothalamus. It stimulates the pituitary gland, releases sex hormones, all of this stuff, right? So why would it be bigger in males? It's simple. I'm not going deep. I'm not trying to set y'all low. I ain't gonna say. It's a basic thing. Men are built and wired to be polygamous. Polygynous. And they're wired that way. So then you have to start to ask yourself, and the creator starting to show you, especially men of power, because they have to function on a certain level. And this is what we can't do. We can't create a man, and we can't love a man and then hate a man at the same time. You cannot do that. You cannot do that. You can't. You can't. So when you start to see the injection of it, you want to minimize. Sometimes we begin to minimize our men's power. Because if your man is a good man, then God would want him to increase more good men like him. That would be the plan of the Almighty, to be fruitful and multiply if you're a good man. So we can't say in our mindsets, oh, my man can't do it because he's a bad man. So what did you get with him for? He only conveniently bad, huh? You know, when you ever had a sister say, my man, he don't want another wife. I'm all that he can handle. I'd be like, yo, bro, I'm sorry, bro. I didn't know it was like this, man. I didn't even know. You know, I was mad at you. I didn't know you was going through all of this, man. Man, bro, you trying to hide that woman like that, bro? You messed up, didn't you? You messed up your life? Man, bro. All right. So now, let's go next slide. All right. All right. How to profit off of persona and self-shadow, right? Next line. All right. One side is light, one side is dark. We find balance. We're trying to find balance in ourselves. How to profit off of it. Okay, if we're talking about religion and spirituality, when we give to God, we're trying to create a good response, right? We're trying to improve our lives. So this is why people say, hey, you can give to God. We got a system. You come to the camp, you give glory to the Creator, you sing a praise to his name, and you give a little something on your way out. Give a little donation to keep this system of inspiring people to be good going. And then somebody said, it's more money on the dark side. Yeah. Somebody said, I can play on the dark side and make a profit, right? So this is Genesis 38:22, where Yashuvel Yehuda, where your man alone Mazatiha, where Gam Anshe Hamakum Amru Walo Hayata Bazir Quadesha. All right. And he said, and he returned Yehuda to Yehuda and said, I did not find her. And also the men of this place said they did not see her in this place, the Quadesha, the temple prostitute. So Tamar was a temple prostitute. So she played the temple prostitute. So the Quadesha is a cult lesson. So at the time, they worshiped a deity of Asherah, right? A god of fertility. So now you're going to have a hard time competing with a sex god. You're going to have a hard time. Y'all, everybody know it. You're going to have a hard time competing with a sex god. You say, man, I can give my lamb up. Go to the burning. Don't stop. Get it. You start moving in the direction of negativity. The biggest industry in the world is porn. Because somebody figured out how to play on your subconscious. Somebody figured out how to play on your darkness. And they know that when you go into this dark place, because Yehuda was in a dark place at this time. He was in a dark place. His name is give glory to God. You can't go in there with him. Glory to God. Yes. Glory to God, you're next. All right. Come on. He said, dang, I ain't got no money. I ain't got my money on me. I got you. Here, take the signet ring, take the staff, take the scepter. That boy gave up his religion. He lost his religion over. Hey, you know, when you down, you need some loving, right? It's the man's mind. He's away from his family. He hurting now. You know, you need a little comfort. Because sometimes, I'm telling you, they smart. I'm gonna go into your scriptures too. I'm gonna show you everything. That's right. So he gave her the staff, and he said, when I come back, I think he said, I'm gonna give you a lamb or a goat or a cow or something, right? A goat. That's a lot. That's a lot. She about to go home and feed families. Right. She about off her deed. Right. She figured it out. She figured out how to capitalize off of our zila, our shadow. And they figured out, they know it here too. This is why they get you all aroused up. They get you sexually active at an early age because they want you to make bad decisions. They want you to make bad decisions, and that's the problem with our people. We got to understand. And see, sometimes our sisters, we got to realize that men are natural in that area, and when you don't allow them to be natural, then they'll go into the darkness of the area. They'll go into the shadow. They go into the shadow. You be on the 10th floor, your husband climbing through the window. At 1 o'clock. You by the window like, hey, babe, I just right here waiting for you. Just getting a little air, getting my oxygen ready, getting ready for my spiritual connection with you, baby. Like this man climbed the 10th story. That's right. What men to do for foolishness. Right. What men to do for foolishness? You gonna get you a woman, you gotta ride to pick her up, bring her home, bring her to your house. Then when you're done, you gotta drop her off and then come back. But after all that's done, you upset with yourself. Man, you upset with yourself. You gotta learn what a man is to understand what a man is. Don't be what the white man wants your man to be. He wants your man to be a failure. He wants your man to be a failure. Go ahead. Next slide. All right, Quadesha likely originates referred to the consecrated maidens who were employed in the Canaanite and latter Phoenician temples devoted to astral worship. And such, the biblical writers came to associate the fertility rites of astral worship with the sacred prostitution. That's why the word Quadash is in there, because it's holy. They're playing on the word. They're saying that to them, that this is their holy, this is their way of being holy. And this is why our Father said, don't get no Canaanite women. He said, stay away from them. He said, what did he say? Stay away from them thoughts. That's what he was telling you. That's what he said. My son, stay away from the thoughts. Canaba. Yeah. Edom, because he was impulsive, he had to go run and he got him stuff that God didn't want him, because God wanted a pure lineage. He didn't want chaos. Right? Go ahead. Okay. Why loose women win over your man? I just want to go to scripture. I just want to go to scriptures. You say, like, we got no sisters after this? No, they need to get it together. Why does your man feel more comfortable in a strip club than home? That is disgusting, ain't it? Well, if he's thinking short term, it'll probably make more sense. The book says, for the lips of a strange woman drop as honeycomb, and her mouth is smoother than oil. That's say enough, right? That's say enough. You up in that club, they ain't rude to you. I seen it. I worked there for years. I said, how you doing, Daddy? You like, you happy? You can't believe she just called you Daddy. Yeah. She sit on your lap. How was your day? Oh, it was excellent. And you just feel like a young man again. You say, I'm gonna call you Kawa. Yeah, y'all slow. Y'all catch it later. Y'all slow. I'm warming y'all up a little bit. All right. So immediately he's loving this because it feels good. Temporary. Because right now he's just looking for a temporary patch in this. He's like, oh, I can't go home. You know, I'm telling you, they in the club, the wife called, they be like, running out the door. You see brothers running to the door. And then you can't answer the phone in front of the club. You got to go far away from here. Huh? Y'all hear Luke in the background? And you like, hey, where you at, baby? Oh, the pastor's talking to me right now, and I'm trying to get some things in order. Right? So this is why the strippers is winning right now. I'm trying to give y'all some advice, sisters. Proverbs 21:9. It is better to dwell in the corner of a housetop than with the brawling woman in the wide house. It didn't say go in your room. It said go into the top of the roof. In the corner. Hey, bro, what you doing up here? Oh, I'm just trying to get some air. Just trying to get some air. Yeah. Bro, I read that proverb. I know what's going on. He said in the wide house. They don't say go on the other side of the wide house. Go on the rooftop. It is better. That's what Solomon is investigating this stuff. He's searching for something. He's looking. His mind is saying, he said, man, I done had it all. And watch out, brothers, because these women lips are smooth. They're going to talk a good one. You understand what I'm saying? And it's hard because men go in there thinking they're going to pull the woman out the club and change her life. Yeah, right. Shoot. Did you not read the story of Hosea? God had a hard time with you, old harlot Israel. What make you think you're going to change somebody's life that easy? You know, Hosea go get that woman and she just doing him wrong. She doing him wrong. God said, go get you a prostitute. He be like, what, God? Oh, my God. And you know you like her. You know he liked her. Everybody liked her. So you know he liked her. You start to see the good in her. Oh, she got upright earlobes. Her toes are so spiritual. You try to make stuff that don't even make sense. Right? Next slide. Proverbs 25:24, King James. It is better to dwell in the corner of a housetop than with a brawling woman in a wild house. 27:17. A continual dropping in a very rainy day, and the contentious women are alike. And then there's one that say that you better off in the field. You better off in the field. You know when I come over your house and your husband's like 20 yards away chewing grass like a deer, it's something wrong with him. He done lost his mind. He in the field now. He don't even want to be home. That man done lost his mind. He act like he a fawn. You ain't, get over here. Who's y'all? Get over here. Okay, baby. They said continuing dripping. I don't know if you know it, but this is a Chinese torture method.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. They drip that water like, doop, 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 doop. You're like, oh! Oh! Y'all brothers had that time, right? That wife just don't understand you. You know, you come home and tell her, and she want, you know, a Trump your day. Well, I've been through a lot, baby. Well, so did I. I just want my time. I just wanted my time. Can I have my time? I gave you your time. Can I have my time? Ooh, it was a hard day. Yeah, me too. I had these kids. How did we get on the roof again? I gotta make sure every day. All right. So now you got to go back to that same verse and look at it in its entirety. Go ahead. Go to the next slide. My son, attend to my wisdom and bound thy ear to understand them. So Solomon's saying, I want y'all to listen, and I want y'all brothers in here to listen too. And this is not about y'all today. So I'm just getting a little bit. I just want people to understand something. I'm going somewhere with this. Believe you me. He's saying, pay attention, bow your ear. Come here. Let me tell you something. Come here. That thou mayest regard discretion, and that thy lips may keep knowledge. Because once you get caught up with the women that's out there in the world, you ain't going to be knowledgeable. You ain't going to be smart. You're going to lose your strength. I know. I'm trying to tell you. You can act all righteous as you want, but that woman is messing up your life. That dark woman is messing up your life. And sisters, that's only to say, let him have it. Not for him to stay away from a woman. I'm just saying to y'all that y'all got to build up trust within your man. Y'all got to work together and build something. Are there precautionary actions that you have to take? Are there ways to do it? Absolutely. But it's 2019. We are not trying to hear, I don't do polygamy. Polygyny. You understand what I'm saying? I do that for general purposes, but it's 2019. I mean, everybody doing it. Akon got polygamy. Like, dang. Yeah. You know, the rappers are doing it. You gonna tell me I gotta go to the rap world to get some righteousness? Huh? No, come on now, sisters. It's 2000. Y'all gotta change. Y'all wait for 2020? Y'all need to create a vision board, right? Get a vision board and put a bunch of sisters up there. And put your husband in the middle. Y'all like that vision board? All right. For the lips of a strange woman drop its honeycombs. Now it's going to fit in its proper perspective. See, because when you're not reading it right, you're just reading something else. And her mouth is smoother than oil, but her end is as bitter as wormwood, sharp as a two-edged sword. So he just changed it. He said, she's smooth as oil, but she's going to kill you. This bitter, boy. I'm telling you, it's bitter. It's bitter. You're like, man, yeah, I hear you, Abba. Her feet go down in the grave. You know, when your father tell you, when he telling you that woman's feet go down in the grave, that's some dangerous stuff. What you mean? She's sick? Yeah, she dying. She gonna take you to hell. Hey, I don't believe in hell. Well, it's about to be one. It's about to open up right now. And you about to be the first person enlisted. Right? I'm telling you. Her step takes hold on hell. He said, lest thou should have pondered the path of life. Now you got to listen to that verse. He said, lest thou should have pondered the path of life, her ways are movable, thou cannot know them. He says, unless you're trying to figure out how life works, go get her. You want to figure out how life works? If you're trying to ponder what happens if I do this, what happens? That's what Solomon was doing. What happened if I do this? He said, but if you want to ponder life and go out there and learn the hard way, go ahead. If that's what you want to do. He said, her ways are movable. He said her ways are movable. So now you may have took that and you be like, yeah, her ways are movable. But this is how I take it. Next slide. Is there a connection between bipolar disorder and stripping? That's how I seen it. That's how my mom said. When it said she like this, her movable, you don't even know her ways. You don't even know what you got today. And I'm telling you, I kick more women out of the club than men. And that's because their minds are not there. When you're practicing fornication and you're being loose, going from one man to another one, you ain't sane. You're not sane. You got a bunch of different personalities because semen affects the brain. It affects the brain. When you argue with a woman that been with multiple men, you arguing with all the men. You are. I'm sorry to say, but if that could keep you strong and straight in life, I want you to think about it. And you hate the man that's in you, in your mind. You dislike him, but then you would challenge your new man with the philosophies of the old man that you didn't like. There is not just one profile to a stripper. However, we know that in that lifestyle, one could encounter drugs, alcohol, risk-taking behaviors. Some people do it for money. Some people do it to prove that they can, perhaps some form of rebellion. Some people have experienced sexual exploitation due to rape, molestation, or incest and end up in the sex market like stripping, porn, or prostitution. Some people just know that sex sells and men will pay for it. Some are working their way through college. The list goes on. Most people in the strip club go to college. Most of these sisters go to college. So now you got an intellectual sexy woman. She telling you about the goals and she trying to get out. Do they get out? No, they do not get out. I know sisters who came in and they were like, I said, you don't belong here, sis. I say sisters with locks, Israelites. Wow. Egyptologists, they all in there. Y'all don't stay away from that. They all in there and they justified. That's justification to them. Yeah. As for mania, now mania is when you're, you see there's manic depression and bipolarity. Mania is when you're excited. So sometimes when you're excited, your eyes are wide. And like you just, you can tell some people that have bipolarity because there's certain things. But when sometimes their eyes are white when they have mania is wide. Mood changes and certain chemicals can lead to the changes in thought and behavior patterns. I wouldn't say chemicals, that's a lie, because really bipolarity is based off of a shrinkage in your hippocampus. So your hippocampus is what relays emotional feelings. So it's kind of a broken system that connects your mood swings and your memory. All right. Mania symptoms can include impaired judgment, impulsiveness, hypersexuality, grandiose thoughts, inappropriateness. Bipolar people are not just drawn to stripping, but if they had the thoughts about it, their impaired state could result into giving it a try. So this is something that they would try because once you're in that manic, you positive in nature, you seem positive about things, but you make impulsive decisions. And you become highly sexual. So these women are doing this. And one of the things I started to realize is that I worked at two different clubs at one time. And I went, one was older, one was younger. And then the older women would fight more than the younger women. And I couldn't figure it out. And she said, baby, because we know we bipolar and we know we stressed, them young girls don't know they stressed yet. I said, that makes sense. That makes sense. Now, I want to tell you why you should stay away from these women because of their manic depressed fits, but these women are crazy, brothers. If he say his death is hell, these women are crazy. You ever had tires slashed? Huh? I'm serious. I watch the same people over and over. They trade and they trying to get that. I get this one. I'm gonna talk to her. I'm gonna talk to her. Yeah. They all do the same thing because they're used to getting stuff with their body. If their body can't get them nothing, then they throw tantrums and fits. It's out of their environment. They're in this world where everything is easy to them. Everything seems easy to them. They'll bust the windows out your car with nothing. Yeah, headbutt. I was about to go there. Headbutt. And FaceTime you with the glass in her hair. Where you at? Your mama calling you, baby. Could you come by? Somebody bust my windows out. You bust my mama windows too? I'm telling you, they do crazy stuff. You got to watch out because the book is warning us as men to be very, very careful. But sisters, do not usher your men into these dark worlds. Don't usher them into these dark worlds. These places are dangerous for them. They don't belong there. They're your babies. They're your babies. They don't belong there. All right, I gotta make sure I gotta check my slides. All right, let's go to the next slide. All right, Solomon, the wisest man, and Solomon's wisdom excelled in the wisdom of all the children of the east and the country and all the wisdom of the east. For he was wiser than all men. And then Ethan the Ezrite and Heman and Chalco and the daughter, the sons of Mahol, and his fame was in all nations round about. So he was known. This man was known, and that's the thing. You ladies love that. You love a man that has that prowess. You love the man that has that power. You love the man that has that influence, that charisma. But there's things that come along with that. There's things that come along with that. You with a basketball player, you distorted that he cheated on you. Oh, you didn't see that? You didn't see that coming. Huh? There's certain things that come along with certain things. So that means people around the world love this man. He like Michael Jackson, Solomon come out there, they're like, oh, Solomon, Solomon. You know, he just like. And your sister like, bye, family. Ema, can I go? King. He the king. He the king. Go ahead, baby. Any man, he can, any woman he wants, Solomon. Yeah, that's up. And he spake 3,000 proverbs, and his songs were 1,005. 3,000 proverbs. That's a lot of thought, man. That means that man is a walking genius. He's always guiding you. How did he fail? It's a good question. So now I'm gonna start saying it's not as cut and dry what happened to Solomon, but I'm gonna try to get to help you to understand what happened to Solomon. I believe that Solomon started out in some deep training, some deep stuff, and then he got bored and went into a downward spiral, and then at the end tried to pick it back up. He tried to pick it back up. We're gonna see it, and so now he said, all right, for the wisdom, for all the kings of the earth have heard of his wisdom. Next slide. All right, Kings 1:10, the Queen of Sheba, right? So now here you go. His fame was so good. Now, everybody, people say they don't know what Sheba is. It's easy to connect. You know, ever heard of it? Look up the Sabians. That's short. That's the group of Sheba or Saba. They say Saba. See, you got to learn that language begins to transfer, and there's phonetic variations when it goes from one language to another that we don't understand. And certain languages, D drops off at the end. Like even when we say sometimes there's no J in the Hebrew language, that's not always true. You understand what I'm saying? Even when you got a dollar, you see a dollar sometimes have a dot in the middle. It makes a TH sound. You know what I mean? Yes, it makes it makes a TH. There's different variations that some people in certain areas used and certain people didn't. So you have to learn how these languages are going to start to change. So she hears of all of this greatness and she asks him all of these questions. She asks all these questions. The man is power because there's power in knowledge. And you love it. You was attracted to it as a woman. But there's something that you have to do in order to maintain that prowess. So here comes the Queen of Sheba. And go to the next slide. So I can set it. Candidate, right? Or Kandake or Kantake, yep. Or the Candaces, which means great women, was used as a royal title for the dynastic name for the queens of Meroe, the capital of Kush. Now, what they don't tell you is this is also extended over into South Yemen, right? Because what you realize is white Arabs didn't exist to the early 1900s. There was no, you got to see, look at Ishmael's bloodline. Ishmael was a Hebrew, he was a son of a Hebrew and a son of an Egyptian. Right. What color was he? Black. He was black. That's why if you look at the language, you start to look at the language between what you have, the Nabatean language, which is the first son of Ishmael, Nabateot, you see the similarities with Egyptian Demotic hieroglyphs. So it's a connection. The book is, and when he left, he even married an Egyptian woman. So these were black Arabs, and even they depicted the Arabs back in the days as dark men in the 1800s. See, so now what you have is an influx of people putting people inside of there to change the whole narrative. Right. See, now you think that the Arabs influenced Africa with the Arabic. No, the Arabic was an Afro-Asiatic language. It was a black language. It didn't need no influence. It was already there. We taught you that. Yeah, Erev means evening, dusky. We telling you what color these people were. And the ancient Nabateans were archers, right? And they lived in a place called Petra. Now, Petra was their kingdom. Anybody ever seen the Petra kingdom? It's a carving. It's a beautiful castles carved in the side of mountains. Yeah, it's carved in the side of mountains. It's like impossible. How do these people do this? And then all of a sudden, they would go through wars and wars and wars, and they were fighting. They were fighting off. This kingdom couldn't even be beat by the Romans or the Greeks. And you look at Antigonus. Antigonus came down there, and he sent this man, Athenius. Athenius went over there and got destroyed. What they would do is they would hide in the desert, and they would have underground water wells. They have underground watering wells where they would get water, but they would be secret. Nobody know where they at. That's good and advantageous for your people because nobody wants land that doesn't have water. So they would hide, and then the people would get thirsty, and they come back and destroy them. So Yeah, Athenius went back, and so Antigonus was pissed off. He sent his son Demetrius the besieger, and Demetrius came down, and the Nabateans went up into the mountains. They hid all their gold in the mountains and in different hiding places. This is where your story is of Sinbad, Ali Baba, the 40 Thieves, Arabian Nights. That's where all of them come from. The open sesame, the secret places are from the Nabateans, the first son of Ishmael. So in it, they were hiding, and Demetrius couldn't get the people. They were too high in the mountains. He didn't know how to get up there. So they send a letter down to Demetrius saying, why are you trying to besiege us? Our land is worth nothing. It doesn't have water. Y'all are just wasting your time. So Demetrius ended up calling off the siege. And this is stuff that we're talking about. You're talking about kingdoms that they're not going to tell you about because they're completely black. You don't know that for 600 years there was a king of the Himyarites. And the last king was named Du-Nuwas, who was a black Hebrew king who ruled in Yemen and the east coast of Africa. They never tell you this. They never tell you this. What happened was he started slaughtering off the Abyssinians. He started slaughtering off Christians because in Byzantine Empire, they were killing off Hebrews. So this king Du-Nuwas started wiping out these individual people. He started wiping out all the Christians of his land. So they hired the Ethiopians to go in there, and they brought other cavalry to help the Ethiopians dispossess the Hebrew kingdom. So we're talking about before Arab influence, there was Hebrew kingdoms reigning there. So you don't know none of this. We don't know none of this because of the distinctions and the changes of the name and stuff like that, because they call themselves certain things to hide certain things, but at the same time, they know who they are. This man did not play. But you don't get that understanding. So now we're back in the same area. This is where the Sabians, they're all in the same area. They changed times. But then when the Nabateans fell off, there came a group. And they're called a red Shemitic group that came in there and started to take over. So now this reddish Semitic group started to take over, and then you start to see different color variations, and then also followed up by the Ottoman Turks. And then after what my Abba always talk about is when after the World War II, when they had the meeting. That's when they took when they put the Jews in Israel, they also started putting whites in Arabia. So they were just cleaning up everything. They started bringing them out in Ethiopia. So they cleaned up the most holiest land and took all our people out there and put our stuff there. So that even the Queen of Sheba, which is even known in the island of Zanzibar as the queen who founded them, but on the back of their dollar, she's a white Queen of Sheba. So now that they think they're subservient to these people because they're saying, hey, this is why most African people that are Hebrew or on the continent don't call themselves Hebrew, because once you say that you're Hebrew, they're going to wipe out your history. So they call themselves completely something different. But they subject them and they know the history. And this is why we have to be very careful. But now you have this beautiful queen who rules this place. And she comes and she asks questions of Solomon, and Solomon is entertaining her. You know, when you got knowledge, right? Yeah. Some brothers might not know about that, but you know, it's all right. We can help y'all out. But now it's our King School. Yeah. But you know, he's showing off. You know, when you begin to show off with your knowledge, okay? And you sitting there, you got this special look on your face. And she's like, and it says she lost her spirit. You know what I mean? You ever been around, so ladies, you ever been around a man? He's so smart and handsome and kind, you just lost your spirit. She's like, oh, woo. And she gave donations to this man. She's like, here, take this, take that. Oh my goodness. And it said he gave her all that she asked for. That's where they leave us off at right there. You know? Well, what she asked for? We like, you know, brother said, you know what she asked for, bro. Yeah. Solomon was like, all right, Kawa, I'll at you. Next one. All right, King. All right, so now, but King Solomon loved many strange women together with the daughters of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Sidonians, Hittites, the nations concerning which Yah said unto the children of Israel, you should not go into them, neither should I come unto you, for surely they would turn away your heart after their gods. And Solomon clave unto these in love, and he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines, and his wives turned away his heart. That's a lot. That's a lot. There's a lot. And you can kind of see in his writings where he's going with this, right? He starts to speak highly of everything. Then he goes into this like a depressive mode, and he's trying to explain like everything is just a folly. But I think that they're all written at the same time. He's just going through these emotions because sometimes when you're elevated so high and your knowledge is so great, and you know, I was talking to my brother about it. It's sometimes you retrogress because you're trying to get a sense of normalcy. Like, because nobody's on your level, or you're talking to people and nobody gets you, or they don't understand you. And you get that, you be like, man, yo, nobody understand me, yo. And then so then you just go and do the dumb stuff. You dumb it down a little bit. So he's in the place, he's like, oh, this and that, I feel this way. And you got to realize that this is a dangerous thing, because in growth, if you're a woman, you have to be able to mentally satisfy your man. Right. You think the man is looking for the physical. Right. Teach. He's not looking for that. He's not looking for that. He's looking for that mental stimulation. If not, he'll go to the only thing that he think a woman can give him, and that's physical stimulation. And you don't want that. You got to study with your man. You got to learn what he learned. You got to be a shadow or reflection of what he's doing. Because it's going to be as simple as this. It's going to be one person that, and you'll be like, you want to study that? She's like, no, baby, I'm really tired. You're like, okay. And here go this one sister who's been watching you for a couple of weeks. But what did you say about the Sabians and the Kande Queens? Right. You be like, you want to study, huh? You know, that's how I start out. Bible studies. Right? That's how easy it is. That's how easy it is to separate them. You have to know what your man wants. And you have to make the adjustments. Oh, he like this. Don't change at the wedding. That's why men don't like getting married. As soon as you give them that wedding, you turn into a demon spawn. You wonder why men don't want to marry you. It's not because they don't want to be with you. They just scared of what you might turn into. Yeah, that's all. Psychologically, they know some ultra beast is about to come out. They know something's got to happen. Yeah. You like, when you courting her and see everything, you got all type of food prepared for you. You got a buffet. It's only you. It's a buffet laid out. Yeah. Just you. You get married, like, babe, what's for dinner? What you cook? We can cook together now, but damn, you start changing. It's so easy to take your man, ladies, because you're so stuck on being hurt. You're so stuck on proving a point. How long you gonna continue to try to prove a point until you lose your man, and then you want to go to the leaders of the camp and say your man is running out there, and you don't relate to him. You better learn that man, study that man like you did before, because guess what? We being hunted now, man. Yeah, we don't even need to hunt sisters. Yeah, man hunting you. Hey, hunting you. You walk down that street, you go in the net will flip you over. You like, I've been waiting for you, brother. We reading together? Hey. Yeah. And you upside down like, I like this sister. Yeah, you like that. You gotta watch out for them nets because they hunting you, bro. And that bad part about it is because they only temporarily being what you want and your wife haven't given you. They know what? They watching your wife like this. Slid the plate. Mm-hmm. He don't got napkins? Did he just pour his own drink? This woman is disrespectful. He asked for seconds and had to wait 20 minutes? Whoa. You know how it is? And then they got one sister, she run up and slide with the plate. When your wife ain't here. You let down your wife ain't here, she go out. Don't you need anything? Put the little bucket of drink on the counter. You got a goat with an apple in his mouth. You open up the you're like, whoa. And you know the sister's gonna tell too. You gotta somebody fed your man today, girl. Yeah. You just need to tell her to feed her man. That's all you need to do. Send your man with the right stuff. I need to stop snitching, sisters. Right? So Solomon did evil in the sight of the Lord and went not fully after the heart, and David the father, and Solomon did build high places of commotion. This is crazy. Like, you know, like he's just at a place where he's like, man, I don't really even care no more. Like, and that's how a man gets sometimes when he's trying to please a woman and it just doesn't work. And he's encouraging you to do better. Like, baby, let's do this. Let's work together. I want to sit down and read with you. I want to do this with you. And then he's like, you know what? It's at times I even said to myself, I don't know why I do this if it ain't gonna be prosperous. I don't know why I do this. I try to be righteous and try to do this stuff, and it ain't even working. And that's in his mind. That's what he's saying. Because he went through these women trying to find something. A lot of time when men going through a lot of women, they looking for something. They searching for something. Might not be right, but they searching for something. It is. And it could be something for personal growth, for personal development. You got to remember, a man is based off of ego. He's based off of ego. You got to pamper him just like you like to be pampered. We got to pamper you every day, right? Come on. Y'all sisters ain't doing right now. I'm going to tell y'all. We got to tell y'all we love y'all 3 times a day. I'm not feeling love. Well, I love you. Love you. Love you. Then you get mad because the 3rd one didn't come in. Yeah, you got to watch him. So just like y'all like it, we like a little bit of that too. Tell him some stuff. He looking a little flabby and sick. Tell him, oh, you look like you getting some muscles. Yeah, really? So have that man gonna get busy. You gotta learn how to work that man. Come on now. We don't ask for much. We simple creatures. These women have chased this man out of God's presence. Man lost his mind. What kind of woman are you? Come on, go ahead. Next slide. All right. I was going to show you the, and then so Solomon even went into the aspects of sexuality, of being creative expressions, right? So you go read the Song of Songs. My Abba had to tell me this a long time. I was like, yeah, that's the conversation. Because Jews try to tell you all type of stuff. That's the conversation between God and Israel. That has nothing to do with God and Israel. Those are letters written back and forth from Solomon and his lovers, right? I'm reading back. She said, I want to blow on her lilies. I'm like, what is this? What is this? Solomon, okay. But he giving you a little bit because you can't disconnect. That's life. The Torah speak about life. You gotta love your woman. And that's what they like about Solomon. Solomon was trying to please his woman. You can see the love letters he was trying to please his woman. It was just something wrong that he couldn't figure it out. You start figuring out type of alchemy and chemistry and physics, and you breaking it down. And then you got that little woman over there. I'm trying to figure. You try to break down your woman, don't you, fellas? You want to understand her. Y'all don't want us to understand you at times, huh? I know why you acting like that, babe. No, you don't know me. You think you 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 know. You don't want us to open up, sisters. We can love you. There you go. We can love you. We can love you and other people too. But it's going to work. It's gonna work. You know what sisters look like when they don't want their men to have multiple lives? They're like the white people that get mad at the animals that attack them. Yeah. I seen a man playing with the crocodile the other time. He said the crocodile snatching on like whoop, 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 whoop. He's like astonished with his arm missing, like, I can't believe you did that. What you expect out of that man? That man he's different. He's not you. See, you think that men love the way you do. They love different. They love different. You got to understand his expressions and how he loves. He only can love you when he feels manly enough to love. Because if you don't make him feel manly, he's not producing testosterone. So that kawa is not in him no more for you. It's not. So you got to get into the mental aspect of who we are. We are just as fragile as y'all are at times. Yeah. Y'all know all the darkest secrets about us. Yeah, y'all know everything bad about us. Yeah. And y'all know that too. Y'all be ready to throw it back, boy, chopping block. You come to your baby, hey, baby, I want to tell you about something. I had a rough day, man. It was such and such. And she just taking notes like she's going to use everything against you. You did what? This girl. And all you said was a girl smiled at you out of a 2-hour conversation. So who was this girl that smiled at you? I want to know why she feels it's okay to smile at you. Y'all heard that before, right? Why does she feel it's okay? Did she ask your wife, could she smile at you? Sisters get like that. You got to win over your man in love and fight for him because he's in a war. No person is being more attacked than a black man. And they're using women to destroy them. They're using women to annihilate us as black males. And I understand it. Women are these social creatures and they're easily influenced by society. But we're different males. We're not social creatures. Everybody in here is a rebel. Every male in here is a rebel. They wouldn't be here if they wasn't rebelling. They rebelling from the system. You run into the system. There's a difference. We don't want no part of that. It might take us some time to figure it out, but we runaway slaves. We're trying to get away. And if you want to stay in the system, we'll come back and get you, but we're trying to get out of here. Our mindset is different. We're different beings. We exist differently. We walk differently. And I love being a rebel. I love being a rebel to the system. There's no part of me that want to be a part of this. I try to kill every aspect of niggery in me. I don't want it. But yeah, there is the Zillah side. There is that shadow. Don't allow me to go back. Don't allow me to go back. You want a godly man or not? That man come with that fluffy beard. You want that? Huh? The long garbs. You want that? What you want? Nah, because you don't want that. Society don't tell you want that. When a godly man come, you really don't want that. That's what you tell Facebook. You tell Facebook you want a godly man. But you want a godly man like a worldly man. Which is a girly man. Yeah. Balls. I don't even know, bro. I don't even know. It say now in this, and I put the Hebrew there, but let me pull up the Hebrew too. It says Ecclesiastes 7:28, right? Read that for me, somebody.
He said Ecclesiastes 7. Which yet my soul seeketh, but I find not. One man among 1,000 have I found, but a woman among all those have I not found.
All right. Now this used to bother me as a child. It really did. It was like, you ain't find no good women? No righteous women? No righteous women, Solomon? And then I got older and I started getting wise and I started studying. I was like, Solomon! You're right, God. I should have bowed my ear to your wisdom. But that's not what he's saying, though. He says, which yet my soul seeketh, but I find not. He's saying what he was looking for, he could not find. He said in a brother, he found one. But in the woman, he couldn't find it. You know, because listen, when you're a person of intellect, you need to be fed intellectually. And then if women, you don't grow intellectually, then the man's going to have to retrogress into the only thing that women can give him, and that's sex. Or he will lose desire for a woman. So he's saying it. And this is how his father set the tone. So you think it's gay, but he said, I love Jonathan more than any other woman. And all he's saying is I had somebody to understand me. That's all he's saying. Sometimes put aside your emotion and listen to the message that your husband is bringing. And every man to lord over your house, you should have teaching lessons. You should sit and teach your wife. And sometimes allow her to interject what she knows. But you have to be the teacher so she can be comfortable receiving the word from you. You have to. You have to be able to teach. I say this, brothers, because you cannot just come up with new ideas and concepts and accept people to just jump on board. The only how the woman is going to listen to you if you're teaching her. Once you teach her once a day, 3 times a week or whatever, she feel comfortable learning and listening to you. You have to train that. Next slide. All right. Hey. I'm about to hit him. The problem in the Israelite community is most women are envious of their men's success. David went back to bless the people in his home, but Saul's daughter Michal came out to meet him. Now David did good. He brought back the Ark of the Covenant. He jammed. He was jamming. Yeah, he was jamming. He was giving out bread and wine. Everybody, come on, everybody. Yeah, it's a party time. He was enjoying himself. Praise y'all. Yo. He go home to bless his house. What's up, baby girl? Don't touch me.
Just like that.
Whoa, go dance for them.
Came to meet him. She said, with what honor of the kings? Like you're below yourself. Right. With what honor the kings of Israel acted today? You took off your clothes in front of the woman. It wasn't a clothes thing. It's like he was letting his persona go. It wasn't a good. You know how you put up the persona? His persona was gone. He was just letting it go for God. He didn't have to be cool. He was letting it go. Right? You took off your clothes in front of the servant girls. So let me tell you something. You took off your clothes in front of the servant girls. When people identify people as object, that means they objectify people. That means they are very narcissistic. They see other people as objects. When they say, yo boy, yo girl, oh boy you hang out with, all that stuff you say, meaning that you're really isolated. So you're lording yourself over. And this is what happens with us sisters in the camp. You are a bunch of macaws scared that somebody's going to take your man. And this is what happens. This is why sisters can't get along with sisters, because you watching and you talking polygamy and people scared because I don't want polygamy in my family. Be realistic. If your husband agrees that y'all not getting polygamy, that's what y'all agree to. But a man, don't sell yourself short just to get a woman temporarily, and you know in the long term you're gonna want something different. Do not lie to these women. Be real. Be real. Be real. You gotta be real, because we don't want to be sneaking out there. Because when we seem like a liar, we can't rule over our house. We can't rule over the house. And David said to Michal, I did it in the presence of Yah. He's like, you missing it, woman. You missing it. I did it in the presence of the Almighty. He said, the Lord chose me. And that sound like me sometimes when I be talking to my wife. I'll be like, you don't think that the Almighty working with me? Kinda. I'm kind of done with this conversation. Then you come back. You really believe the Lord? They're working with me? Come on, baby. My name is Yashuvel. Return to God. He chose me and not your father. Oh, he impersonating now. He running people in another place. I mean, I could have killed that man. I let him slide. David ain't playing now. He pissed. I've been letting you slide, Michal. I've been letting you slide. He said, not your father. Anyone from Saul's family. Not nobody in your family, because they bums. That's what he said, right, Albert? That's what he said, right? Yeah. The Lord appointed me to be over Israel, so I was celebrating the presence of Yah. And maybe I will lose even more honor. Yeah. I might lose me some more honor. Yeah. He probably had a party afterwards. Party at my palace. Yeah. No men allowed. Yeah. And maybe I would be brought down, in my opinion, but the girls you talk about will honor me. Man, boy, that's the realest thing in the Bible. That's the realest thing that I ever heard. That's real. He said they gonna honor me though. We're gonna get some honor and respect from them. See, brothers that are in leadership positions, sometimes you have to understand your wife doesn't support your leadership, because it means at the end of the matter you will have what? More than one woman. So what your desire to do is really cool and it's okay, but the direction it's taking you into is not where she wants to go right now. So you see the conflict. You see why you're not getting patted on the back. She want the White House, the white fence, and the dog. That's all she want. She don't want the dog, the sister wife, and the sister wife. Yeah, that's not what she signed up for. How would I look in front of my friends? That's what they thinking. How would I look in front of my friends? I come out and we all come out together. I'll be like, how I look? Shoot, I'm the man. But they right somewhat. That's why we gotta be a Goshen. You do look crazy walking down New York with a baseball cap and some skinny jeans. Talk about these your wives. What's up? Oh, these my wives. Yeah, you taking advantage of our culture like the white man. Yeah, I ain't like that one. All right. Let's go.
It's so.
Next one. Yeah. I'm down with everything. I don't hate people with skinny jeans. Yeah, you gotta be politically correct. I don't have none against skinny jeans. Next slide. Is that another slide? I knew I added something. I got you. I'll pull it up. I got two more. Oh, give me the next one. Yeah. Oh, all right. Why smarter people have less sex? Now, I'm trying to get you to understand nothing sexual in this. It just says sex. All right. So one of the things that you realize is that they start to say that some of the geniuses in the world, they refrain from sex. And that's probably where Solomon was. And that's why I said Solomon probably started out because he was protected as a child. You know, you ever had a woman, and this is the natural proclivity of a woman. If she has a miscarriage or a child dies, the next child that she has, she's overprotective, right. and she puts her all into that child. So this is why Solomon had an advantage. Right. His mother made sure he was going to take that throne. She made sure that nobody was going to mess with him. Solomon was in this little box being trained to be a genius. Mm-hmm. He was being trained to be a genius, and he's talking at a young age that God gave me wisdom. That woman raised him good. Mm-hmm. She raised him good. What do you want? He didn't say, I want an iPhone. He said, give me wisdom. He said, give me what God said. Just because you ask for that, I'm going to give you all the riches in the world. So I'm going to give you all the riches in the world. And so now when you start to realize that one of the most striking commonalities that I liken among all the famous virgins, that there was a list of intellects. I mean, come on. Look who's on this list. Nikola Tesla? Y'all know Nikola Tesla? Tesla's a genius. Isaac Newton. So all your super scientists didn't have sex. Henry Cavendish, I don't know who that is. These were just these just wasn't the run off the mill type of guys. All right, bye. According to the One Science blog, Medical Daily new research by retailer Love Honey found a correlation between libido and elevated intelligence. However, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're having more love. I'll say love, whatever. All right. So it's saying that they have higher libido, but they're not pursuing it. And why? And it appears because your children, your smart children, your intelligent children, they're really not caught up into too much peer pressure. They are focused on one goal. They have they're determined to be certain things, and they stay away from certain. Your bad kids, they out there. See, there's a level of intelligence. When people are intelligent, they preserve themselves more. It says, and it appears that they may lie within the decision-making of intelligent people, as Friedman notes. People with high executive functions with the prefrontal cortex, which relate to things like general judgment and impulse control, have what Friedman calls a slow life history strategy. So you could tell which one of your children are planning out their life slowly. When they're planning out the life slowly, that means they're more intellectual and they're going to take less risk. They're not going to jeopardize their life. You got one child that's watching you, and you like, that's my baby. That baby love you, but he's watching you to learn that I'm not doing that. It's like my mother. Right. See, some people think that or my father, some people think that they raised intelligent children. It wasn't the fact that you raised intelligent children. Your children were so appalled by your lifestyle that they said they're going to do opposite of what you're doing. Right. And that's some of the things that you have to consider. So the life history theories refer to how people decide and how they think about things. Go to the next slide and we're going to close out soon. Huh? Proverbs, yeah. Proverbs 31. Proverbs 131. And my brother said something to me. I'm not gonna point. I'm just gonna point at all my brothers. So now I'm putting them on the spot. My brother said something to me, and this is for men and women. When God's talking to Pharaoh, we all believe. When he's talking to Pharaoh and Moses, we all believe we who? Moses, right? We read it from the Moses perspective. Yeah, that Pharaoh's stubborn. But in truth, who are you? You're Pharaoh. Every time you pray for God to get you out of a situation and you're going to do this, I'll let the people go and I let this, you go right back and doing the same thing over and over again. That's the bullheaded application that we have as individuals. So I don't want you to think when the book is talking about Proverbs 31 that it's talking about you unless you live up to it. But there's a stipulation because now Solomon couldn't find one, but that doesn't mean that there aren't these sisters out here that can't please a man and make him happy. That doesn't mean that you can't be virtuous. He just had a hard time and maybe he was looking bad. Maybe he was looking in the wrong places. Maybe he had a whole bunch of problems. He did what the Most High told him not to do. There was a lot of things that was plaguing this man. But when you go to Proverbs, right? Verse 1, read it. Verse 1? 31:1. Okay.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
What, my son, and what, O son of my womb, and what, O son of my vows? Give not thy strength unto women, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings.
I said, give not thyself unto women. Now, this is the introduction to Proverbs 31. Now, this gets me to start to think is that, yes, everybody heard me speak before, right? Okay. And they heard me always speak on greatness of the women, right? Okay. So if I bring a message today, don't think that discredits what I said before because I'm just trying to bring balance. Right. And I see that it's getting so lopsided now that women are becoming so dominant and they moving like men. Right. Too much. They moving like men. And it has to stop. It has to stop. I'm appalled. I'm appalled because brother groups are more, what I want to say, virtuous than sister groups. Sisters will walk their other sister into some dangerous stuff without warning them or saying anything. Because they too busy about friendship. Y'all go different places, fly different places, do this, do that, do that, do that. And y'all in the secret society. Had nothing to do with God. If my brother is sleeping around, I'm gonna tell him he's wrong, or he gonna get suspended, or something wrong with him. That's what I'm gonna do. If my brother see me doing something, he gonna pull me to the side. Yo, what you doing? That's below you, brother. Y'all are like, go girl.
Hashtag breakaway.
What's that? Hashtag breakaway. Hashtag do you live too long for him. Now it's all about you. Yeah. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Hashtag us.
Y'all know what I'm talking about. It's nothing more beautiful than a woman being under a strong man and having a strong woman. See, the world is telling you nobody can tell you anything. And I'm telling you, your man can tell you everything. That's a difference. Just because your man corrected you, it doesn't make him condescending. Maybe he's trying to ascend you. Maybe he's trying to make you better. I know when I talk to my wives, I want them to be great. And the only thing that looked like it almost entertained Solomon was the Queen of Sheba. And why was that? Because she was powerful. No leader want a woman that ain't no leader. How you walking amongst them and you answering to everybody else because you got an attitude problem? Your man is a floodgate of information and people got to come over you to your man to get knowledge. You supposed to be meeting them sisters with the knowledge of your man. Whoa. Think about it now. If you mimic your man or followed your man, the sisters will come to you to get the knowledge. They know the right way. But then the sisters are studying and they know that you don't got that kind of information. Number 6. Don't know what her man's talking about. The sister go home and she watch all the videos. Everybody else. I like it when you do like this, bro. You know what I mean? She point out little things that only you know about. Yeah. when you get mad, you be looking sexy. I remember when you was talking about this, like, yeah, sister, told out. You know, we try to play it off as man. You know what I'm saying? We try to play it off as man. We try to be big time sometimes. We're like, thank you, sister. I love you. I respect you, and I appreciate you too, sister. And then the sisters are like, why did she go to him and not to me about the knowledge? Right. Or me about the info? Why? Maybe present yourself. Guess what? You know how much power it is in you having a powerful family? You know how much power that is? You know how that is? You walking amongst and your sisters, your man looking good. You got sisters around you, they all looking good. Your children are sharp. You know how powerful that is? Huh? We don't like stingy women. No, we don't like stingy women. Sharing is caring. Ain't it easy? Brothers clapping at anything right about that. I got that from Barney, man. Come on now. But like I was quoting Aristotle or something. Well, I stole from Barney. Y'all brothers just hype. Y'all gonna have a lot of upside down dishes today. I love it. You put a plate on top of the plate? Oh no, it's just flipped over. Okay. And that's what we gotta think. It said, but who can find one, a virtuous woman? Don't make it hard for a man to find it. You could be everything your man wants. And just because your man like other women, it doesn't mean that you're lacking in any place. Brothers, don't go around saying, I need another wife because you can't do this, you can't do that. I need another wife because I'm a man. I'm a man. I'm a man. And I say this, and if you want that, you're going to have to make sure you fund up. Yep. That's right. You have to fund up. You got to step your fund game up. You got to step your fund game up. Right. Huh? Yeah. Right. Yeah. Level up. And Nasi Yashuvel, his wives lived under the bridge. That ain't gonna be my narrative. Shoot, I'm about to sell wine out the Levitical cities or something. But you know what I mean? I'm about to turn it into a shot spot. I'm not going out like that. I'm about to step it up. Hey, brother, you want polygamy? You need to get some finances. You need to get this stuff in order.
Amen.
Yeah. You gotta pay them bills, brother. Yeah, you gotta cover the main bills. It look good. You say, give her the small bills. Give her all the small bills. It add up to the main bill. Yeah, make it look good. Give her all the small bills. Be like, baby, I got the rent in the car note. You got the power, the water, child care. You know everything, gas, all that. Food shopping. All right, y'all. No, we do the food because that's part of our three things we got to keep. So we make sure you got to have some food. But yeah, let your wife free up her money. Let her feel free because guess what? She's going to bring that money back to you anyway if you're a good man. Pay them bills. Pay them bills. Feel good about yourself. Who cares if you don't have no money after that? Because if you got a good woman, you got money. You ain't got to tell her what you want. You ain't got to tell her what you want. Right? You know. Y'all better be serious when y'all clapping because I hope because all we want, it's too much. We too far in the game for this. Your children are watching. Your children are watching. Your children are watching. You can't dysfunction. They don't need to see that. We had too many generations of dysfunction. Save them babies. I need to talk to you. Let's talk away from the kids. Talk far away from them. I'm going to tell you about yourself. I just want to talk to you about something that you could do better. I need you to do better. Let's see them working because they got to be harmonious. You don't have to tell your wife nothing. You see the Proverbs 31, she's there already. She's there already. Yeah, she already know everything, all your moves. She got you so covered, you ain't even worried about her. You ain't even worried about. That's a good woman. Yeah, that's true. We go through so much as people. And we always look to the woman and they're depressed and they're sad and they're all of this. But you know brothers are going through depression also. Right. They going through depression. They feel in certain ways about themselves. All we need is a union that's powerful. We can make it examples for the world. And my purpose was the lesson is to understand that I want people to understand that Solomon is just human, just like everybody else. Right. He looked into these deep understandings. He studied sex. He studied everything. He studied the evolution of. He studied women. He knew all the knowledge. But it appeared that he couldn't find what he was looking for, and it brought him back to normalcy. Yeah, it brought him back to being so low. And I would hate for any man to feel that way. Because it's hard when you're always speaking about stuff and people don't get you. That hurts. That's right. Yeah. It hurts. If anybody you want to understand you, it's your wife. That's Huh? When you come home and you angry, she don't think you angry at her. She know you angry at the world, and she gonna calm you. And even when you angry at her, she gonna calm you. Baby, it's okay. I'll make it better. It's gonna be okay. Yeah. But what happens? The woman throw emotions back. They get mad with you. I'm mad too. I don't need this right now, Sarah. You got named Sarah and you rebellious. I don't need this, Sarah. Yeah. God is so beautiful if you understand his laws, man. We are easy to be read, men and women. Women open up, men allow them to express themselves. Give them proper avenues to express themselves. There's a time and place for everything. There's a time and place for everything. And the Most High is going to make a way for us as a family and as a group to collectively come together. And one thing I want to tell you, sisters, please, if you don't want your man, let him find something else. But don't be up in here hating on other sisters because they want your man.
That's true.
They don't. That's not right. That's not right. And sisters don't even like, some sisters come in here, they don't even know nobody man yet. Y'all setting them up like, I don't even want her to think I like her. Yeah. Sister sitting on the island by herself. Why she? Y'all sisters supposed to be like, hey sis, what's up? How you doing? Where you from? What you doing? Man, you got to get out of that mindset. That's Negro stuff. Yeah, that's gang wars. Yeah, you push people away. And then what happened? The husband's kinder than the wife. Yeah, that's not gonna make no sense. Yeah, she gonna be like, oh, I know you got it rough at home. You kind and she evil. Y'all think I'm talking down? I'm gonna tell y'all one thing. I'm telling y'all how to protect yourself, sister. Y'all want to keep your man the best way you can. You got to understand the man. Don't make him something that he's not. And if you don't like what I said, then probably you might not like men. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. There's no way around it. I am dead. Brothers, did I say anything that misrepresented y'all?
No.
Huh?
No.
All right. If I said something that misrepresented y'all, y'all let me know. Because the man you searching for don't exist. You want him to have power, but don't have power. Right. Like you got, you got like a lot of weird things. You want him to be 20, but don't want no children. Like your combinations don't even make sense. Yeah. Yeah, and again. Yeah, you man. He's 7'7" with handles and shoot threes. You unrealistic. You unrealistic. Be realistic in your approach. I ain't telling you to lower your standards. I'm telling you to up your standards. Yeah. All praises, all honor, all glory to the supreme intellect.
Hallelujah.
Y'all, my forefathers, y'all Abraham, Yitzchak, where y'all call. We got 15 minutes, so I would, if I can, I would love to do some song of praise to close out. Oh, you got something to say, Abby?
You said it all.
All right. Hallelujah. So we asked Prince Shem to lead us in song of praise, Bavak Shah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. We ain't got the drummers though. So, yeah, they coming up. All glory, all praises due to the God of Abraham, the God of Yitzchak, where y'all quote. Thank him for